Welcome back here to the GioMoShow. Be sure to subscribe right here on YouTube and wherever else you are listening, wherever you get your podcasts. The GioMoShow has its own Instagram page at the GioMoShow. And be sure to get involved with the show by using the hashtag the GioMoShow. We just wrapped up talking about the Golden Grizzlies as men's and women's soccer and volleyball got kicked off for their seasons. A couple of new head coaches for the soccer teams trying to find their first win. And Oakland volleyball looking to play their first game as they go to Buffalo this weekend. So where that leaves us into the beyond part of our Oakland Sports and Beyond of the GioMoShow, we finally get to talk about the Detroit Lions once again. It's been a while since we've talked about them. As I mentioned before, I don't like to do off-season nonsense, but we're a week away from the NFL, so thus the nonsense has expired, and this is now real football talk. It now actually has a little bit of weight and hopefully some prediction accuracy. So we'll get into it here, and I don't have a particular guide for this. I'm just going to try and give you guys my general thoughts as to what I think of the team now and kind of where we're at. I'm not going to do a whole season prediction. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do the whole like who gets MVP and the classic season prediction stuff. I've done it in previous years. It has not gone well. But we will keep you guys up to date with my pick'ems of each week as I'm still in a pick'em league and I'm going to use them for content. So each week at the end of the show, I'm going to give you guys my pick'ems for the week of the NFL, and we'll see and kind of keep track of how well I'm doing throughout the season. I thought that was a lot of fun to do. So I'm going to keep doing it, and it also keeps me reminded to do it if the show is leaning on it. So keep up to date and keep excited for that part of the GioMoShow. We'll end with pick'ems each week. So as far as the Lions go, I am of course excited. I have been looking at that Sports Illustrated cover for quite some time. I've been looking for it whenever I'm out and about. I don't really know where they sell magazines anymore. Now, I don't want to sound like a stupid kid who's 22 years old and hasn't had to buy a magazine and since it was Zoo Books when they came in the mail back in the day. I still love Zoo Books. Animals are the best. But if you guys know where you can find a copy of Sports Illustrated, please let me know. I would love to have a copy of that. But luckily, we just have the cover photo for now. But I'm still excited for that. That's still all I need to get excited for this team. I mean, because I haven't talked about it doesn't mean I haven't been excited. I just try to let's see where the dust settles before the weeks start. So looking a little bit of last season, I tried to block out a lot of the pain from the NFC Championship. We hosted it at our place, big watch party for it. My brother was at the watch party at Ford Field. He came back with a sweet poster of Sewell in the background and Goff and St. Brown, same guys on the cover of the magazine. But I try to block out a lot of that pain, and I just kind of leave myself with the takeaway of, okay, we're really close, and we didn't get worse, so we should be better, or at least have a better shot of holding on to a lead should we get in that situation again. I hope we have learned our lesson for that. But for the most part, I've been kind of blocking out the pain of that one. But when it comes to now this season, we're talking about some of the draft and the free agent pickups. I will be honest with you guys. This recent draft class for the Detroit Lions, it's just not grabbing me. I don't know. It's just not grabbing me because of the emphasis of corners and secondary. And yes, we absolutely needed it. It's not like we picked Jeff Okudah third round again. Okay, listen, we needed that. But I kind of hold back on my excitement because I don't always expect rookie corners to be immediate impact players. It takes a little bit, I think, for some of those corners to really develop and to really become huge contributing factors on a defense, and especially one that is already coming in with a big weakness. I just heard we gave up like 8 yards a pass last year on defense, second worst in the NFL. So I'm holding back on my optimism for the rookie corners. Now, I love the guys, Terry and Arnold and Rakestraw. I forgot Rakestraw's first name, but I want to let them be rookies because with the huge power and the huge skill level that a lot of these receivers have, and even the young ones coming into the league, the skill floor is very high for those receivers. So I would imagine it takes a little bit for the new corners to adjust to that. So I want to hold back my big optimism and hype for those rookies. I want to let them and give them a chance to be rookies. Am I going to get upset if they give up a big touchdown to lose us a game? Yeah, but I think that just kind of comes with the territory. What I am excited for is more of the free agent additions to this, because this is really, I think, the first time that Brad Holmes has really dug into free agency and made some big moves. Now, it's not the big flashy moves. It's not the big headline and talk about it on the same show for 5 segments a week, every week. It's not one of those. But DJ Reader, I can look at that just on its own. If he is healthy, and I haven't done the research for it, but I'm pretty sure both of his quads exploded at one point. If he's healthy, given his performance at Cincinnati, and given the then related performance of his edge rusher, Trey Hendrickson, then man, I'm really, really excited for what he could bring to this D-line. Because it's not like he's coming into a D-line where he's the only guy. No, you got Aleem McNeil and you got Aiden Hutchinson in addition to that defensive line. And you got kind of whoever else wants to be the other bookend edge rusher, whether it's going to be the guy from the Canadian League or whether it's going to be Marcus Davenport. I don't know who's going to be filling that role. But already you got 3 really, really good players of the 4 spots on your D-line, of Hutchinson, of Reader, and of McNeil. And having a strong defensive line, you see it all over the NFL of how huge of an impact that a good defensive line can make any team. Because if you guys remember, the 49ers are just an awesome defensive line. They're a factory of defensive line with Nick Bosa, and they switch around a lot of the guys on the inside season to season, but they're still a really good defensive line. And if you remember also the Eagles that went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, that was a monster defensive line. So you can do a lot with a good defensive line. And now the Lions have a much improved defensive line, because you're not going to run the ball. You couldn't even run the ball last year. Now you're really not going to be able to run the ball. And that's huge. And I think that was a reason why our defense was able to kind of hold together throughout the season and even get us to as far into the playoffs as we did, despite the bad secondary. And a good defensive line can mask a bad defensive backfield. And I think that it can, one, feed back into the rookies that we were talking about. I think that can help them not have to cover as long. And it helps you kind of, get back, or not get back, but get into the groove of the NFL when you're not on an island for 9-10 seconds. And God forbid we send a linebacker on a blitz and he just disappears and he just digs a hole underground and waits for the next play. Because we don't blitz well on linebackers. We do safety blitz as well. As we saw, I think it was a Fatu Melifan where we had a couple of sacks, maybe against the Vikings. I'm going off the top of my head here. I don't know. But that improved defensive line is going to be fantastic. And and it's not only just that it's effective and it's foundational and it's a really important part of football, but I think back to when the Lions, early 2010s, had a fantastic defense where you had names like Ndamukong Suh. Of course, Ndamukong Suh would be the first one. But you also got Ziggy Ansah. You got Cliff Averill. And who else am I missing? Kyle Vandenbosch, Nick Fairley. I'm not saying these are Hall of Fame dudes, but all those guys were on the same team together for a few years. And that defense was amazing. We had other pieces in the defensive line, but I love the feeling and the intimidation that a good defensive line provides. Just knowing that all of those offensive linemen are sweating the idea of having to go against that defensive line for another play all the way down a drive, hopefully a shortened drive. But the idea of those guys shaking in their boots saying, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? I got Lee McNeil, I got DJ Reader right in front of me, double teaming me, basically. Please get me some help. Meanwhile, the tackle is saying, I got Hutchinson to deal with, and he keeps spinning on me going in and outside. I love the idea of those offensive linemen saying, what are we supposed to do? And what they're supposed to do is do what you can. I don't know, this is one phrase I loved from John Randall when he was talking about, I'm going off random clips I see from Instagram, but yeah, John Randall was talking about Larry Allen from the Cowboys back in the 90s. There's like, what am I supposed to do? He goes, do what you can. Anyway, I love that phrase, but I just love that intimidation that comes with a good defensive line. But I say all of this and I focus on the defensive line, not ignoring the free agent improvements that we made to that secondary, as we got ourselves Amik Robertson and Carlton Davis and not Cam Sutton. I believe addition by subtraction when it comes to Sutton is going to be a big deal here. And to put some veterans on that spot that don't, I'll hold back on that comment, but to finally get some veteran presence and some good veteran presence on that side, whether they're fantastic or not, I still think the defensive line is going to be the bigger piece, but that helps, and it shows attention to the need, and it shows that Brad Holmes can get free agents. I'm not saying the crop for cornerbacks was huge this year, but we got what we could, and we improved, and I think we're ready to go for an average defense. All I need is an average. You could even go down to maybe not average, which would be 16th. If you go 18th ranked defense, I think that's enough. I do think that's enough. Especially with the offense that we have, which with Jameson Williams, hopefully living up to what we're talking about, what people are talking about. Because if he doesn't, the wide receiver room's kind of shaky. But that offense is enough for you to have an average to below average defense. Just not one of the worst. Just don't have one of the worst units in the league, and I think we'll be fine. And I'm very excited for it. And I'm ready to go here. You guys see my room. You guys see the colors. And if you don't, it's blue. For those watching, it's blue. It's Honolulu blue and silver in this room, baby, ever since I was 12. But I'm ready to go. I'm very excited. And what really hit me now that it's starting to become football season here is, it's not so much this week. I'm going to talk about weather here, but it wasn't much this week because it's hot as hell. But last week when it was getting to like 60 degrees, it was kind of flirting with the 50s. There was one moment where, I eat fruit at lunch. I bit into an apple. And I looked out, and I knew that cold breeze was there, and it just hit me. The fall is back. Football is back. Cider donut season is back. I was so excited when I bit into that apple and felt that cool chill. I'm excited for fall. I love the nice weather. But man, fall, you got bonfire season, hoodie season, football, cider, apple season. I'm ready to go for this fall, man. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are too. I know some are always sad that, it's getting darker earlier and it's getting a little colder, but as long as it's not freezing, I like that temperature where it's like about 60 with a chill. Maybe you can wear a sweatshirt. Maybe you might consider sweatpants, you know what I mean? Or you could do the sweatshirt and shorts kind of thing to keep you, both warm and cold. It's the season for that. You don't sweat. It's just, I love it so much. I'm very excited for it, along with all the sports that comes with it. And I'm ready to go.